Good evening, happy Boxing Day, and cheers to Christmas. I hope each and every one of you had a spectacular day yesterday. But as we know, Boxing Day is the Christmas of football, and we couldn't go by without a round of Super League tonight. It's a sad day in the world of Super League, as we've had confirmation that Sloth's icon, Rob, has handed in the reins and passed them on to his junior, Mr. Alf Bridge, who takes charge officially from the next game because of where the save is. But he has been in charge of team tactics and transfers anyway, so we won't notice too much difference. Jamie, we've got Ross, we've got Ian, we've got Mike, Tato, Dan, who is very, very much next in line on my list to get back next time a job becomes available. We've got Smuts in the chat, who for half an hour when the internet gives out before I can join comms. He got sent a link, he's not here, so it looks like I'll be flying solo. Duggan and Steve as well. Again, I hope everyone has enjoyed a magnificent Christmas and is ready to blitz through an hour or so of Super League action. Here are the fixtures for tonight. Badgers host Sancte, mouthwatering clash that. Fulchester Dudley containing Burn, LSK will be interesting. Sloths v Foss Road, how will today's news affect the bottom club? Stackington Haggis, Stanley versus Coast, and Vikings versus Exiles. Fyfie, have you ever seen the Disney short Boo? Or Bayo, sorry. No, I don't think so. Has that got anything to do with Bayamax? I can't think what film he's from, but it's the robot from somewhere in Asia, isn't it? But no, I don't think so, is the answer to that question. Let's get straight on. And without a code comms, we'll run in any order we like. We're starting with Stackington Haggis. Stackington without the suspended Casillas. Ashley Cole still unavailable, means they line up like this. We've got Stillian Petros being promoted from the reserves and comes straight into the 11 despite his 90% fitness. And of course, David Day takes the substitute goalkeeper place with the suspension of Casillas. As for their visitors, Butt is injured. Guigu failed a late fitness test, and Valtellina makes his first appearance of the season as Ian tries to sort out his wingers. So it's Pires on the right, Valtellina on the left. Everything else remains unchanged. A very, very, very attacking substitute. Oh, I say unchanged. Sorry, no. Van Nistelrooy dropped to the bench, and Guede starts up top. Indeed, this is the attention to detail I like when a manager actually reads the news that is posted out. Petrov, who turned up late for training, gets a starting place. So we kick off game number 1 on this Boxing Day Super League. Let's see whether Stackington can win or Haggis will continue their reasonably good start to the season. And a big chance there for Stackington to open the scoring. Excuse me. Morientes there as well, having a good chance. It's a decent start this for the home side, but they need to be careful because Haggis are very dangerous when they get going. And it's half-time, 0-0. Both sides having 3 attempts on goal. Haggis none on target. Interesting. Similar pass completion records, identical tackle completion records, and Haggis absolutely dominating in the air. If you have, obviously let us know what you got up to over Christmas, if anything interesting happened, if you've got any fascinating gifts, because Christmas isn't just for the kids, but also, have you been to watch any Boxing Day football? I would love to know, because I watched the Swindon game on iFollow and wish I hadn't bothered. Absolutely rancid again. But I've been watching wall-to-wall football, really. I went to the cinema nice and early this morning, watched the new Next Goal Wins movie, and then I watched most of the lunchtime game, which was Newcastle, if I remember the order I've done these in. Then after Swindon, I watched Liverpool, and I watched the Man United game, which was very good. And we've got an as-is nice and early in here. Ross, thank you. And then, this Man U Villa game was definitely a game of 2 halves. And Steve already, he's looking at Petrov's performance. Can I see the stat? Yes, mate, they're on the screen. Oh, these ones. No worries at all. Evening Alf, evening Dimble. Happy Christmas, Asna. He's talking rugby. I was confused for a moment there. That United comeback was a bit of a sickener too. Keeps banter manager in a job. Was it Bournemouth v Kidderminster? Says Dan. Rubbish game and cold. Oh, there we go. Can anyone beat Bournemouth versus Kidderminster? Team stats players. There you go. That was the screen it was on when you left the comment in. And I know people like to know when this sort of thing happens. So toffee apple cider. There was no beer on Christmas Day because I was driving. So this is my second toffee apple cider of the day. And Ian goes as is till 60. Yes, Smuts told me that there was late limbs for Ipswich in the other nighttime kickoff. We resume this game, and a big chance for Haggis. First 1.5. Stackington's still very much in it, though. We get to 62 on the clock, and it's a free kick to the home side. Still 0-0. Petrov proving that you don't need to train to perform on the big occasion. Really good performance from him. And his condition hasn't even taken that much of a battering either. Morientes working very hard, 76% he is on at this point. No yellow cards. And we've got 2 players in Matt Holland and Clarence 6 rating Seedorf on a 6. Steve continues to talk up Stilia Petrov. And Dan saying, his mate went his words, Ipswich scummed an undeserved double deflection last-minute goal. And the word from Stackington is D'Alessandro is coming on for the ineffective Seedorf and done. As for Haggis, looking at their stats now, only Jacques is on a 6, everyone else is 7 or above. Vieri, the only player on a yellow card. And condition-wise, Vieri as well, again, gets the mention, 73%. Everyone else is 82 or higher. Interesting to see what Ian will do here. Will he react to that substitute as well, with D'Alessandro coming on? Del Vecchio for Jacques. What's a double change for Haggis? And Guede lasts an hour before he's replaced by Van Nistelrooy. There he is. Vatlina doing reasonably well. Duggan suggesting a rude winner, I reckon. Stack have been good here. Let's see how the rest of the game plays out. Alf went to watch Oldham beat Hartlepool away 3-1 after the manager suspended 2 players for not wanting to turn out for training on Christmas Day. Yes, I heard about this. One of them's a bit of a party boy, so he'll be quite happy to be suspended because it means he's got more time to go out drinking, Alf. 15 minutes to play. We've slowed down the commentary. See if we get late drama in this one. It's a throw-in. Perez now. Cannavaro. Perez again. And it's still Perez. Everything's going through him. He'd be hard as a rock, though, getting in the way. And here come the home side. Koku. It's a throw-in. 2 minutes only being added on. And there's Dyer on the other side. Puts it across. And Mendieta picks it up. Fine save. And Said picks up the loose ball and is able to clear. Now Vieri. Vieri sends it wide. It's end-to-end NBA-style conclusion to this game. D'Alessandro again. And still the substitute. And Hippier volleys it over into injury time. Offside. And they try and take it quickly, but now Dyer picks it up. And Amoroso. He's missed the target. What a chance in injury time. And the game finishes 0-0. But that was a very good nil. Look at that. 7 shots, none on target from Haggis. Wow. Much straight in result of the season so far, this, Ross. Very impressive 0-0. But that wayward shooting from Haggis will not please Ian at all. Yeah, look at this. The reaction coming in, Duggan, great 0-0, that to be fair. Good point, that, Ross. Good point for each, says Alf. Kieran Dyer getting man of the match in this one. I think Stackington could perhaps find somewhat unfortunate not to have won. Haggis created plenty, but very wasteful. And I'm surprised actually a little bit that Cuenca didn't get man of the match for the saves he was pulling off. You can see there he got a 9 rating as well. As 0-0s go, that was very impressive from both sides. So a point apiece, and we move on to game number 2, which is Sloths versus Foss Road. 1 change for Foss. He's Clivert returned to the 11. Santa Cruz drops to the bench. Owen misses out entirely. The rest remains as is. After they picked up their first win of the season, they were the beneficiaries of the Casillas red card. As for Sloths, as we know, they're under new management. I need to check if Alf replied, actually, because he picked an unavailable player for his first game in charge. Have I got anything from Alf here? No. Alf, if you could just please pick a different left winger. Anyone know where my TV remote is? Been sat in the conservatory expecting to be on comms and now I'm back bed. Yeah, Alf, if you could quickly just pick a new left midfielder. If not, I'm going to give it to Luis Enrique. He called up De Pedro from the reserves because he got called up for Australia. The young Pio's getting So we've got the Caretaker Manager 2 tactic, which sees Zidane come back in, Zetterberg as well. There should be plenty of goals in Trezeguet and Penza, but it's just that supply. Do they have enough to get them the chances? So game number 2, Sloths versus Fossroad. This will be the last game of the Rob era before Alf officially takes charge. Not much happened in the first quarter of an hour. Trezeguet and Penza both getting involved, and they get it horribly wrong. Half an hour played. Looks like Sloths have had the better of it, but failing to convert. And Fossroad score. It's Van der Vaart. It won't count. Zé Roberto was offside. And Eric Haddo, just before half-time, picks up an injury. Now, what do I think Alf's going to do here? I imagine LYP will drop back, and Zauri, who most people would have starting, potentially coming on that left-hand side. Interesting, I also spot Jorge Costa there on a 5. Saying I've had a goal disallowed in every single game so far. Well, you need to work on your offside runs then, mate. It's what you need to do. Don't whine about the rules. Play within them. Alf agrees with my assumption, so we're doing that, and we're doing that to see us through to half-time. And there is half-time. Not quite the classic that we saw in game number 1. One shot from either side, and it wasn't even on target. Pass completion, Sloths are edging it. Tackles, Sloths considerably better, and headers, Sloths again. Evening Rocks, who's just joined. Hope you had a good Christmas. Indeed. Mike's saying, oh dear, and that's not saying behave. Looking at the stats then, as we just saw, no yellow cards. The 5 for Costa may be a consideration for Alfia. Condition-wise, no one is of concern. Although these are very low numbers. They're not seeing much of the ball, are they? As for Fossroad, a bit more shared possession, but just very, very average. How can Jorge Costa get a 5 on the opposition pose no threat? That's why he's got a 5, because they're posing no threat. Every fibre of my being is screaming 1 at the back and 3 up top. Well, do it then. Don't waste our time saying you might do it. Do it or don't. We've all got beds to get to this Boxing Day. Franco with an early shout for 7 of the season, and a Smuts going as is. So just waiting for Alf ahead of the second half of this game. And Alf going as is as well. Let's resume the action then and go to 60 minutes. See if we could get something exciting to happen in this game. Foster building up the head of steam, and then 20 minutes goes by with nothing happening. So we stop it on 71. Still 0-0, still no yellow cards for the home side. Still no conditional issues either for Alf to consider. Would Alan Smith make any, would he change it at all? Would he add any sort of impact? While we wait for Alf to decide, we'll go over to Fossroad. Only Zé Roberto. Zé Roberto, Riquelme and Clive are arguably the 3 biggest players in this team with the exception of Vieira. All rating 6s, so not getting the desired impact. Lawson and Zé Roberto both dropping below the 80% marks in terms of fitness. But again, no yellow cards. Alf wants to go back to the marks, which are presuming are the ratings. Ronnie Johnson 9 is interesting. I've noticed a couple of managers backing Ronnie Johnson to do a job in the Super League, and it's nice to see different names. Not one that I would automatically be picking in my team. Zetterberg there at the other end on a 6. Costa has moved up to A6 as well. Just while we wait for both managers, a slight change of circumstance is impacting the festive schedule. The round on New Year's Day is being postponed, I'm afraid, as other plans have arisen, which means I won't be around in the evening of the 1st to do Super League. Smith for Trez is the confirmation from Alf. No problem. And as for Smuts, he's responding to Rock saying, come on, Smuts, do the bad thing. So Lewison for RSC. 2 up top. Centralise Hoffland. That we can do. 20 minutes left to play. Let's see if these substitutes impact the game. And Sloss taking advantage there of fewer defenders. Can they score? Alf saying we usually concede a late goal. Vieira could be in trouble. Brett Hugo shows him the yellow card. Free kick awarded to the home side, which is down to take. Penta brings it down. But Voss are able to control the ball. 84 now on the clock. Van der Vaart picks up the loose ball. And Kluivert, good save, and he's held on to it. 4 minutes left to play plus injury time. Maresca picks it up. Riquelme. Free kick awarded, which Riquelme to take. 3 minutes being added on. West wins the ball. Now Zé Roberto. Santa Cruz. And a fine save from Alephropoulos. Vieira. And Alephropoulos again. Etzabaria at the 3rd time Vasquez manages to clear. Oh, and Alephropoulos gets his fingers to that one. Jonsson heading this one clear. We're into injury time. They want a penalty. Ref waves play on. Final whistle. And we have our second 0-0 of the night. Foss a lot better in that second half, but not good enough on this occasion. Ronnie Jonsson getting man of the match, and we did see his name a fair few times, particularly in that final. And I agree, Duggan. Alephropoulos putting in a stormer. There's no way, absolutely no way Casillas comes back in for the next game, and Alf confirming their first point of the season. They are off the mark. As for Foss Road, it was decent. Vieira was spectacular. Riquelme, his usual disappointment, and there just wasn't enough in them to get past Alephropoulos on the day. Let's move on to game number 3, which I'm very much looking forward to. Vikings versus Exiles. Exiles lost for the first time under their new manager last time out. He's reacted with a slight tactical tweak. And this is how they line up. Still one at the back. You can see the slight change from last time to the tactics. They've got one less defensive midfielder, and they've moved him into attacking midfield. So it's Milden to Marzi protecting Nesta, with the Veron and Kutasov behind the front 3. Pity De Pedro couldn't play as he's been brilliant for Oz. We haven't played yet. How can he have been brilliant? As for the Vikings team, they go as is, with Thierry Henry continuing to lead the line, and that impressive centre-back partnership of Ferdinand and Sisi. And we have a 2-1 prediction in the chat. Exiles versus Unicorns next, I believe it's 0 defenders rocks. We tried that last year. And the Exiles wear their Swindon Devils token kit for this fixture. On reinforcing a fine save. And Roxanne's parking the bus. Half an hour played. Are we going to get any goals tonight? The game knows we've started late and therefore doesn't want any drama or any discussion points. Half-time, another 0-0. Vikings, much the better side. But goalkeepers tonight are excelling. Pass completion, virtually the same. Tackles 1, Vikings doing much better. Exiles much more dominant in the air. Quick look at the home side stats. Only Paredes and Emerson rating 6, everyone else 7 or above. No yellow cards. And conditionally, no one is under 91% for the home team. As for Exiles, Veron is in the book. They've got a real mixed bag with Costanzo on a 9 for all the saves, but many of their outfield players on 6s. Ross predicting a third 0-0. I'm still waiting for this guaranteed goal fest at the Exiles that Rock's promised. I can't see him doing the old "Are you not entertained yet?" Jens saying as is, not a lot of the ball here being shared around. So there's Jens confirming the as is. Mike saying, don't worry, Cosmos Stanley up before long. Steve saying, Omri barely touched the ball, but performing. Feel a goal from him coming. And then Batty Golfs. Oh, okay, we're making changes. Right, so Sorin. Move Sambrotta left. Gomez right. Done. Okay, that is what's been done. Sambrotta left, Gomez right, yeah. Lovely. We resume the action. Vikings with the first and second chances of the half. I think Steve said that Henry might score here. I believe he had one of those 2 chances. As we've reached the hour mark, Costanzo with another save. Cafu moves up to a 10. Henry on a 9. The ratings looking positive for the home side. Condition also looking good with no yellow cards. We may well see an as is, although Antonio Lopez and Pavel Nedved have been warming up, ready to have their say on this match. Will the Vikings do anything? He's saying lovely CCB. Rocks, without even seeing his stats, is making changes. We'll just have a look at for Sahar, dropping to a 5. We've got 9 for Mild. Stanza still a 9 as well. Nesta also on a 9. Condition-wise, nothing much to report here. So move to Marcy and Mild each side of Theron. Push Nesta to DMC. So pushing everyone forward. Jens on the other hand. So Dira for Sokoviak. 2 up top. Emerson Central. That's it. Lovely. Well, let's see how this works then. Half an hour to play, still no nil. Changes in tactics for both sides. Henry missing a glorious chance there. And we've got another 0-0. Rocks, this is boring, mate. My Exiles were more entertaining than this, and we would lose games. This is rubbish. Absolutely rubbish. They say, take all these draws, me. Rock's saying, what the fuck? He's going to resign. Jens saying, lovely stuff, good game. And Rock's saying, this is the worst. It's almost as if throwing loads of players doesn't yield more goals. Who'd have thought? And we've got a, oh my God, what was that as well? Everyone reacting to this game. Cafu gets man of the match for his 10 out of 10 rating. Everyone was a 7 or above, with the exception of Pavel Brozek, who was largely ineffectual. Lopez came on, tried, but couldn't change either. We got Dimble saying, ooh, Rocks. How the fuck have we kept a clean sheet? Indeed. As for Sahar, still got his 5. There were a couple of 9s throughout. Costanzo worked very hard, Nesta as well. But other than that, no one really stepped up to the challenge. We need Swanee involved, says Spurs. Could this be the lowest scoring Super League game week ever? As he's saying that the Jeremy's 8th, very harsh. But we got more teams picking up points. So we move on to game 4, Northern Burn versus Los Santos. And there is very little to say for this, as both managers went as is from their last game. So a reminder of the Burn team. And without Boya and Kalushny, a reminder of the LSK team. And that one has ghost games. So we're going to Badgers versus Sancte. Still no gigs. Compe also unavailable. Sees Valgarin come in what I think was the only change. There's some movement on the bench. But other than that, that is what we're looking at for the Badgers this evening. But Simeone Desai continue in that holding midfield role. Jamie, so we've got people predicting goals for the game that's just ghosted. Sorry, guys. As for Sancte, a slight tactical tweak for them as well, but the shape remains very familiar. Ambrosini in that role that I like him in. And largely the expected players. This won't surprise Tater at all. So Badgers versus Sancte. Let's see how this one goes. Surely these two will dish up some goals. Badgers missing 1 or 2 opportunities there. And Sancte get the first goal of the night. It's Ronaldinho who then goes in the book. But we have a goal, everyone. We have a goal. It's all blue and black text. But every time that white and orange comes, you feel like they're going to score. Constantinou, the latest. Dye goes in the book. A free kick gets headed over the bar. How have Sancte not doubled their lead there in that passage of play? Half-time, 1-0. At least we have a goal. Sancte all over their hosts here. Could they rue not taking some of these chances? They're winning in every single area of stat that matters. Badgers, it's not awful ratings at all. Okoronkwo is the only player in the book. No one below the 90% fitness rating. Steve reacting appropriately to what he's just seen in that first half. As for Sancte, Ronaldinho absolutely bossing it. 10 out of 10 first half performance. And Doug is saying there as well, going to regret not getting the second as is. Tato also going as is. Thank you, boys. We shall go on. Tato saying 0-3 incoming. 10 minutes goes by with nothing happening. And Badger's first real bit of sustained possession. They created some chances, could not score. Looking at their bench, Larson and Elbert both there. Could they impact this game off the bench with half an hour to play? No fitness concerns at all. Not that Tato would worry too much about that. The ratings, Nikiforenko, Rossini, and Okoronkwo, the only players not a 7 or higher. I do think there's a possibility of a change in coming from Tato. While we wait for that one, Sancte, Sol Campbell and Ambrosini, the only players not rating 7 or higher. Ronaldinho still on the 10, even with his yellow, and Dye, the other player, on a yellow. Conditionally wise, the only 2 players are below 90%, but no one is below 83. So I think Duggan will be relatively comfortable. Duggan goes first with as is. Tato is making changes. So we've got Simeone off for Elber. And move him up top. Nicky back to MC with an arrow. Centralise the MCs without arrows. 2, 2, 3, 0, 3. Lovely, thank you. Let's see if that change has the desired effect. Both sides having chances. Oh, and I just missed a glorious opportunity. Indirect free kick given to the away side. Now Constantini. Into the final 5. Into the final 4. As the home side come forward again. 5 minutes are being added on by the officials. And Constantinu, way off target. But the goal kick is taken again. Valgarin goes in the book. Free kick to the away side. Ronaldinho lines it up. But heads are clear. We're into injury time. Into the second of 5 minutes. Ronaldinho. Toldo pushes it away. Valgarin clears. Agahawa now will try and set up a counter. Last minute of injury time. But perfect time. Saviola misses the target. There's the final whistle. And Sancte get the first goal and the first win of the night. You have to say they deserved it. Much more creative. Badgers, they huffed and puffed at the end there to try and get an equaliser, but it just was not enough. Here are the Badgers ratings. Toldo with a 9, Saviola 6, Nikiforenko 6, Rossini 6. And that is, of course, yes, Ian makes a very good point in the chat. That very, very extensive, long Badgers home record that Tato was telling us about has gone at the hands of Sancte. As for the away side, Ronaldinho, man of the match. We saw his name all over the commentary. Everywhere else, it was quite mixed. You've got 6s, 7s, and 8s throughout. But after a slow start, Duggan will be delighted with the last couple of games. Now we go to Stanley versus East Coast. And we're looking at the away side first. You have Harry Kuehl back available. So he comes in for Rivaldo, who goes onto the bench in place of Alex. Everything else stays the same. Tato, they're saying, expected it against you, mate. I'm boring as fuck without kicks. With 4 games in, only 1 goal. Let's see what Stanley and Coast can offer. As for Stanley, they have a big list of players missing. Ekiog suspended, Scally, Deisler, and Medina all injured. That sees Vashuk move from right centre-back to left centre-back. Gary Neville takes the armband and comes back in at right centre-back. Everything else stays the same. And Mike says, come on, Sigalko. Chop, chop. Let's see then how these two get on in game number 5 of the evening. Feels really weird to be on game 5 after 39 minutes of streaming, flying through them tonight due to the lack of anything happening. Not even drama, never mind the lack of goals. There's not even drama, there's no red cards. We've had 1 injury. There's just nothing happening tonight. Boxing Day, the home of rubbish games. Not like that famous graphic from 1963, I think it is, where there was just an abundance of goals on Boxing Day. Approaching half-time, still 0-0. And Sigalko's name getting involved. I can see Kuehl on the attack for the other team. And there is the half-time whistle. And surprise, surprise, 0-0. No attempts from the home side. Their crowd will not be happy about that. The only stat that they're winning of note is headers. East Coast absolutely dominating. A look at the ratings, and despite the lack of attempts, no surprise to see Xiao Pinto and Sigalko struggling down now 6 ratings. Everyone else is 7 or 8, with the exception of Vashuk. Dimble going as is, please, before we've even ticked over. Di Biagio, the only player on a yellow. And fitness-wise, he's also the only player below 90%. Oh, sorry, no, Zanoni, the only player below 90%. As for Mr. Dimble, he seems quite content. Everyone's 7 or 8. Barry Ferguson is in the book. No conditional issues to worry about. So that is why he's gone as is. And Mike has gone, yeah, pretty standard as is. So we go up to 60. 6 minutes go by with nothing happening. Shevchenko with that opportunity. Zanoni puts one over the bar. Oh, I think I've clicked it slightly early there. Westerveld on a 9 rating. Sigalko now the only player on a 6. No players adding to the yellows. And still no conditional issues of note for... Looking at the Premier League fixtures on Amazon for the rest of this week. See how many of them I can watch. So nothing much there has changed in terms for Mike. So it'll be interested to see what he does. As for East Coast, Sayles there on the 9 rating. Really impressive this evening. Next is partner in crime, Kowalczuk, who's on his 8. Ferguson on the yellow, and no one below 86%. Yeah, indeed. A lot of good goalkeeper ratings tonight. This is the night of the goalkeepers. Dimble confirming no change for him. Mike saying as is. So we soldier on with this one and see if we can get a win. Oh, Davids with his first goal for Stanley on 59 minutes. We have a goal, everybody. Second one of the evening in game number 5. Now, what do Coast have about them? 70 minutes on the clock. Shevchenko goes in the book. Rose looking to get a second here. Another yellow card. Into the final 5 minutes. 2 minutes being added on. 1 goal in it will slow the commentary down. Zanoni goes in the book. Free kick awarded. Kowalczuk goes wide. Gary Neville doing a solid defensive job. Zanetti. Hussein hits the post. And Carlos is able to clear. 1 last chance maybe for the away side. Stanic picks it up. Free kick. Kowalczuk. Shevchenko. Stanic! Ferguson! Oh, it hits Stanley, goes behind for a corner. And Stanley hold out and pick up a huge 1-0 win over Coast. It wasn't pretty, but it certainly was effective from Stanley. And Mike will be absolutely delighted to come away with 3 points there. A champing of the highest order. As the comment comes through, we blow the whistle. Very well done indeed. Big win, says Ian. Steve saying, wow. Coast missing a plethora of chances in the end there. And Dimble reacting the way that most people would. Fuck's sake. The Stanley players throwing their bodies on the line in the end to try and maintain. And despite not creating many chances, very, very impressive nonetheless. Like saying, good game, Dimble. Can't believe only 1 shot on target there. Kowalczuk picks up man of the match for his performance. Harry Kuehl not having the greatest of return games. Plenty more will be expected of him. But a massive 3 points for Stanley. Good ratings indeed, Mike. Good ratings indeed. So our penultimate game, Fulchester versus Dudley. Dudley went as is for this game after beating Badgers 2-0 last time out. Joe Cole, of course, picking up Player and Young Player of the Month awards. Oh, I forgot to congratulate Dimble as well, who got Manager of the Month. Might explain what's just happened. That Manager of the Month award. Fulchester still without 4 players, and they just make one change, and it's on the bench. Sutton taking the place of Chiesa. Everything else remaining the same. An ultimate game of the evening then. Let's see if all the goals have been saved up for this one. Dudley Hill get us underway with a first half goal courtesy of Roy Mackay. Fulchester trying to come forward and equalise. Again, Dudley just looked like they could score. But now we have an injury for Decor. And without a recognised defensive midfielder on the bench, I'm presuming Dede maybe and Hersey go out wide would be what I would guess is coming next. See what Steve wants to do. Yeah, as expected. Hersey swap with Dede. Thank you, Steve. Switching the action, 10 minutes to go until half time. If anything, that injury has made Dudley more attacking. He said he nearly put Vogel on. Ronaldo, we've got our first game where both teams have scored. Superb stuff. 1-1 at half time. Steve Rude's decision not to put Vogel on the bench. Both teams have had chances. Fulchester scoring with their only shot on target, however. Pass completion similar, tackles 1 similar. This is a very, very even game because even the heading percentage is 50-50. A look at the Fulchester stats. Back the captain on a 5. Torres and Materazzi and Donny all on 6s. Condition-wise, nobody other than Torres is below 90. Both teams score. It's goals galore indeed. No yellow cards to worry about. Same situation with Dudley with terms of the yellows. Only Comandini is rating a 6. Everyone else is 7s and 8s. Condition, no concerns with the players on the pitch. For those who believe that there's something about it, the Decor injury has taken him down to 38%. Oh, excuse me. Reminder, the next round of fixtures will be on Thursday, which is the 28th. Packs will go out to managers tomorrow, and that should include that move for Figo to go from Vikings to Sloths, who will then also be under Alf Bridge management. Just waiting for either manager to confirm if they want to do anything. To be fair, I don't think I've seen Macca so far tonight. But he may well be lurking in the background. Tony for Comandini says Steve, no worries. Any chance of festive transfers, Fyfie, even though I've got deals left? Well, given that there's a number of teams who still have deals left, I don't think they're really needed at this point. I think there's 5 or 6 clubs that still have deals left. I know Stackington do, I know you do, I know Sloths do, I know Stanley do. That's just off the top of my head. So I was considering it, but as we're still very early in the season and there's still so many teams with transfers left, I don't think it's warranted. I think that's Steve done. Seen nothing from Macca, so we'll go to 60. And there he's back to score his first ever goal for Fulchester. And we reached the hour mark. And it's 3-1 and it's Torres. Wow, Fulchester have turned this around. Donny and Materazzi still on their 6 ratings. Condition-wise, Torres still the only one slightly low. everyone else doing really, really well. Maka will be delighted when he watches this back, I'm sure, unless, of course, they throw it away in the next half an hour. As for Steve, he's got one sub left. All of his attacking changes have been done. Condition-wise, no real concerns, no yellow cards either. Twice as many goals in this game than all the others combined. And Ian saying, wow, how's it that then? I wonder if Steve will change anything here to try and get back in the game. Accidentally unplugged my mic there. So while we wait for the managers, fire through what was everyone's favourite present they got for Christmas, or a novelty present they got for Christmas. Let's share the joy. On my Fools Rush In podcast, we did a giveaway this year, 12 Days of Foolsmas, where we personally bought stuff from the club shop and just offered it out to fans as freebies, and got lots of nice messages. Considering how shit Swindon Town have been in December, losing every game we've played, we were the ones who have put a couple of smiles on people's faces. So that was always nice. And most of them arrived before Christmas as well, which was even better. Mackay up top with Tony, no problem. Percy AMC with Arrow. Cole midfield left. Arrows to AMC on. Oh, okay. So like this. I think that's what Steve means. My favourite, by the way, is Aidan picked. So he's at an age now where he likes to pick the presents, and he remembers a conversation we had. And my hair, unfortunately, I'm at that point in life where my hair's thinning. So he bought me a hat, and he wasn't sure if I'd actually. I've got my headphones on. This isn't going to work. It was at a point where he remembers a conversation we had, and me and him were both trying on flat caps. So he got me one for Christmas. He's like, I'm not sure if it was a joke or if you actually like it, but this is definitely my favourite present that I received this year. It was my new flat cap from Aidan. Just move that out the way again. Lovely, thanks, mate. Thank you, Steve. Smut says, I got exactly 2 presents this Christmas. Grinch socks and a T-shirt from Vinted that still had security tag on, so I can't wear it. That's not true at all, sir. I know you got another present because I got you it. Had to cover the bald spot. Exactly, you understand. Very Zach Dingle, indeed, yes. The guys on FRI saw a picture of this and have already photoshopped me into many a TV programme. Peaky Fifers. Yeah, I don't think I'm that cool, unfortunately. Let's resume the action, see how the tactical change for Dudley Hill works, or if it just creates more space for Fulchester to exploit. That's 76 on the clock. And it looks like Fulchester are just going about their business. They're not pressing this at all. They're quite happy with this win. If another one comes, great, but Dudley don't really look like they're able to build up a head of steam to go. And there's another one for Ronaldo, and the game finishes 4-1. As a result of Christmas, I think I may be the only person in Scotland who owns a Catalans Dragons jersey, says Rox. Your present was my default. Yes, lad. That means I've won Christmas twice this year. Delighted. Much like Maka will be when you watch this back. 4 shots on target, 4 goals. The keeper's had an absolute mare. But Fulchester have done very, very well. Ronaldo, man of the match. Only Materazzi rated below a 7, and no yellow cards either. Very nice. Fulchester are back. Might comment on Ronaldo scoring as well. As for Dudley Hill, yeah, expected Abiati 5 there, conceding with every shot that was on target. Not a great night. After all the other stellar goalkeeper performances, there was always going to be one who had an absolute stinker. But huge congratulations to Fulchester for their Boxing Day result. And that just leaves us with the game that ghosted earlier, Northern Burn versus LSK, the final game of this Boxing Day edition of the Super League. Indeed, Slot said 30 CubeSat Worldies tonight, and then there's Abiati. Burn, not wasting any time. Montella on 7 minutes opens the scoring for the defending champions. He looks like he's up for it today. He is having a couple of shots inside the opening 20 minutes, could have 2 already. It's all Northern Burn at this point. And Montella from the spot makes it 2. And then a fair amount of time passes, approaching half time. Are they going to get a third? A fine save from the corner. It's cleared 2-0. A dominant display, absolutely dominant display from Northern Burn. Scarily good is how I would describe them in that first half. Ratings-wise, I mean, it's as expected. Only Montero rating below 7. Turan excelling. Duff excelling. No yellow cards and nobody below 90% condition. Absolutely brilliant from Northern Burn, who unsurprisingly Ian, as is Edwards, goes with his name. Roxane Bartes having another good game. There's not one he hasn't yet. There he is on his 9 rating. We've got a 5 there for Lazans, plenty of 6s, and no yellow cards for Jamie to contend with. When Burn are on this sort of form, what can LSK do to counteract it and to try and have an effect and not let it become a rout? First thing they need to do is get Didier Gat more involved in what's going on. He's been very, very quiet. So just a reminder while we wait for Jamie, the earlier news that the New Year's fixture, New Year's Day fixture has been postponed as I've got something else to do that evening instead, meaning I won't get back in time. And as I'm at work the next day, I don't want to start it stupidly late like I have done tonight. Jamie going big at half time. Let's try and make sure we get this right. So we've got Lazans off for Del Piero. Move him to AMC. And move Aymar to MC. Forward arrow. Like that. And then like this. That's how I've interpreted what you want, Jamie. If you could just confirm if that's right. I'm not sure if that's meant to be a diag forward or not, as I was originally going to put it. No, he says that's it, mate. Lovely, thank you very much. So credits, Jamie's going for it here. Let's see how we get to up to 60. And it seems to have worked in the early exchanges of this half. Certainly a lot more threat from the away side. Duff moves up to a 10. Montella up to a 9 at the hour point. Totti has gone in the book. Nobody below 82%, which is Montella, lone striker. For Burn, very much expecting and as is. Jamie is already gone, as is. He's obviously quite happy with what he's seen in that second half. Just while I wait for Ian's, I will just show you, Jamie, what's going on. Bartes still on a 9. Still a couple of 6s in amongst the ratings there. Condition-wise, nothing to worry about. And there is Ian going as is. And they've got one back through Diego Tristan. But Scholes has surely wrapped it up on 76 as he makes it 3-1 to Burn. Into the final 10 minutes. Credit to LSK, they've made a game of it. 87 now on the clock. Into injury time. And there's the final whistle. Burn running out 3-1 winners. LSK, they looked a lot more threatening after the tactical changes, but Burn just too strong and too effective, winning 3-1 tonight. Mike Duff picking up man of the match. Nobody for the champions ratings below a 7. Very, very accomplished performance by them. LSK, it looks significantly better, I think. Tristan Aymar, a lot better. And Vasilyuk also having something of an impact when he came on, but just not quite enough, unfortunately, for Jamie. So that means the classified results for this Boxing Day round of Super League fixtures: Badgers 0, Sancte 1, Fulchester 4, Dudley Hill 1, Northern Burn 3, Los Santos 1, Sloths 0, Foss Road 0, Stackington 0, Haggis 0, Stanley 1, East Coast 0, and Vikings 0, Exiles 0. That means after 4 game weeks, we have Northern Burn. Nobody is unbeaten anymore. Northern Burn and East Coast, both on 9 points. And we've got 4 teams: Vikings, Exiles, Stanley and Haggis, all 2 points behind on 7. That completes the top 6. A point behind them, we have Dudley Hill, Badgers and Sancte on 6. We've got Fulchester, Foss and Stackington on 4. LSK on 3. And still the only team yet to win this season are the Sloths, who, as of the next game week, which is Thursday, will be under new management. Packs will be out tomorrow morning when I get up. But apart from that, again, I hope you had a fantastic Christmas. I hope you've enjoyed the sort of hour sprint through of Super League action this Boxing Day. And I will speak to you all again on Thursday. But from Super League HQ, good night.